Today we're diving into the world of wargaming with a total beginner's guide. If you've ever been curious about what wargaming is, how to get started, and what you'll need, you're in the right place. So let's get started. And if you haven't already, do please like and subscribe so you don't miss out anything in the future. So first things first, what is wargaming? So wargaming is a tabletop game where players simulate battles between armies using miniature figures, terrain and dice. It doesn't just have to be ground warfare, it can be aircraft, it can be navy, it can be in space, but you're moving miniatures around. There are various game systems to choose from, each with their own unique rules and settings. Very popular options include things like Warhammer 40,000 set in the far future, so science fiction. You've also got Star Wars games. I'm trying to think of other sci-fis, but there's many sci-fi games out there. Warhammer Age of Sigmar is a fantasy game. You've got Lord of the Rings role-playing game, Bolt Action, which is World War II, Chain of Command, World War II, many different ones for the different periods that you could be interested in. The choice of game depends on your interests and also really your gaming group and what you're interested in and who's around and what they're already playing. So really your first step is just figure out what period you're interested in and then do a bit of research and find a rule set that you think will be suitable for you. So part 2 is, now that you've decided what period you're in, it's how do you get started in that area. Your best bet is to use a starter set. These sets are perfect for beginners because they usually include everything that you're going to need to start playing. They're going to include usually 2 armies, one for each player. So the miniatures themselves. Usually you get a rule book, usually you get dice, tape measures, and even sometimes terrain as well. They all vary depending on manufacturer, but they give you what you need to get into the game. They're usually cost effective in comparison to buying all of the individual parts individually, and it's just an easy way to get started without having to feel a bit overwhelmed by, do I need this unit, do I need that unit? They just give you core groups which you can just get straight on with the game, so they're probably your best way to go. So I mean, starter sets also, they give you a taste of the game. They usually have beginner modules or scenarios, and they're designed to be easy. Usually the rules that come with them are kind of a quick play rule rather than a 200-page manual. It'll be a 25-page manual, for instance, or something along those lines, just so it's quick and easy. You can learn the basics, get the game going, and then you can pick up as you go and play more and more games. So one of the most rewarding aspects of wargaming, at least for me anyway, is building and painting your miniatures, but also the scenery. So don't worry if you're not an artist. I mean, neither am I. Look at some of my videos. The miniatures come out pretty well, but they're not the best. I'm not a professional. There are plenty of tutorials online, my own and others. There's thousands of them, which will help you improve and learn new skills, both in the miniature painting, but also how to build scenery. Start with basic techniques, quite literally like how to base coat and wash and dry brush, because if you can get the fundamentals right with painting, you can get some pretty good effective tabletop miniatures fast. And then as you gain confidence and skills, then you can try the more advanced techniques and your miniatures will just get better and better and better, and you never know, one day you might be entering them into competitions if that's what you're interested in, but if not, doesn't matter. Equally, if you're the sort of person you just want basic miniatures on the table, if you're painting red British, you could quite happily spray paint them red, do a wash and a dry brush, and they're there. I mean, especially if you're painting smaller miniatures, you don't need to go into a huge amount of detail. You just go to the level that you're confident and comfortable with. So it is quite easy. But it's easy to get carried away and do big projects and start with the scenery. Once your toes are dipped in the water, sometimes you just dive in. At least that's for me, and I love the scenery building. I might not be the best in the world, but I really enjoy it. It's almost a hobby within a hobby, so it opens up all those different aspects. It also, I think, from personal experience, has opened up routes to connect with new people. My niece, she's only 5, but she loves me to bring over, she's always telling me, Uncle Will, bring over 5 horsemen and 3 trees next time you come over so that we can paint them together. So she loves painting and she loves me putting the stuff together for her. So hopefully, fingers crossed, when she's a bit older, she'll actually want to play with them rather than just paint them. It might not work out, but it gives us those options, so it is a lot of fun. And once you do have painted miniatures and scenery, it just makes the whole game more immersive because everything looks semi-realistic, if you will. So it's a really interesting and fun part. But if for the start you don't see yourself being a painter, you can always use paper markers like these, which are in my rule set, which is coming out shortly, or you can paint wooden blocks to represent units. It doesn't have to be actual figures, so whatever works for you, whatever's easy, whatever's within your price range. Some people say to really enjoy wargaming you need to find a great community. Now I'd say that is true to an extent. I mean, if you can check out local gaming stores, community centres, online forums, and find other players, it is a lot of fun. Plus you've got their knowledge, you've got their miniatures, you've got their scenery, the kind of the infrastructure's there for you as a beginner, so it does make life somewhat easier. Many stores, if you live in an area which is lucky enough to have gaming stores, have dedicated nights each week for wargaming where you can meet other players, learn from them, learn from the managers. So community is a big thing, but it's not the be-all and end-all. I mean, if you are somewhere where there aren't other players, that doesn't matter. There are many war games where you can play them solo. They're designed specifically for solo play. But equally, if you are able to be sort of, I'm not sure if objective is the word, but able to see both sides and not be one side needs to win, then you can easily play any game solo. Or you can roll a dice. You can give yourself two options to the unit. Roll a dice. On a 1, 2, 3 you do this, on a 4, 5, 6 you do that. So it just puts in a bit of variation. There are many ways, so if you are solo, that's fine. You can still enjoy the hobby. There's plenty of things online. I mean, get involved with Facebook page. If you comment on my videos, I always respond. Different groups all over the place. Wargamers are a pretty good group to get in with just in general, whether it's in person or online. Everyone wants to share ideas. So yeah, just because you don't have a group, don't worry about it. But if you do have a group, then use it to its fullest extent. And it is a great hobby, and yeah, great groups of people to mix with. Now, next thing, whether you're in a group or alone, don't forget about the online resources. I mean, you've got websites like Reddit, YouTube, and just Google in general. There's various wargaming blogs. There's so much information out there. You can find tutorials, battle reports, painting guides, and much more. Online communities are also great for asking questions and getting advice. So just, yeah, if you've got questions, just search for them online, and that resource is there for you, and it's just going to help no end. So now let's talk about setting up your first game. What you're going to want to do is start small with a skirmish game probably. You don't want to dive into a giant like the Battle of Waterloo or Borodino. Start small, 10 to 20 figures per side, a few bits of scenery. Just keep it simple. That way you're going to get the hang of the rules and the movements and just how it works. Use the miniatures from your starter set if you've gone that route and used the starter set. Set up a scenario, usually from the rulebook, just so it's nice and easy. That way you can slowly read through the rulebook, watch some tutorials if you don't quite understand anything. Don't be afraid to make mistakes. Sometimes mistakes make the game funner. But just take your take your time to learn the game and just have a great time. Learning rules, it does take time. So just be patient and enjoy the process of discovering new strategies and tactics as you go. So to recap, first thing you've got to do is choose your game system. I mean, start with a starter set, dive into the building and the painting just to really get yourself ready. If you can, find a local community, then utilize the online resources, and then get around to setting up your first game, whether you're playing alone or with a group. I mean, wargaming is a fantastic hobby, and it combines strategy, creativity, social interactions. So take your time and have fun, and immerse yourself in the world of miniature battles. And what I think you'll find, if you don't already have a passion for history, very quickly you will do. I mean, as you recreate historical battles, you will definitely be reading about what happened historically to get a better idea of the battle that you're about to fight, and then the wider social, political, and military situation. If you're playing Warhammer 40,000, you're going to most likely want to read the books. I mean, I know I sure do. I still read them. The Horus Heresy books are some of my favourite. Really well written, great books. So whichever area of wargaming you're going to get into, you're definitely going to start to pick up an interest in that wider field. So there's so much to learn and enjoy and just indulge in. But overall, I hope that this beginner's guide has helped you get started. If you do have any questions or want to share your own tips, leave a comment down below or go to my Facebook page. I'm always willing to respond and try and do my best to help you guys out. Please don't forget to like and subscribe, and hit the bell icon for more wargaming content. Until next time, happy gaming.